All right, everybody. I'm gonna move some of this stuff out of here. Thank you guys for showing up. Appreciate it. Making sure this is actually on. Yours is on. Very good. You guys can come on over here. Come on over here. I want to look at you guys. And you guys can say hi. This is all 520 Moto Alliance and everybody here at Indian Motorcycle Tucson. And we're going to be talking about safety stuff. This is not going to be a big, long spiel. I can't talk to you guys about motorcycle safety in 20 minutes. There's no way. I have about 1,000 videos on my YouTube channel. I still haven't really delved deep into a lot of the stuff for motorcycle safety. And at the end of the day, being on a motorcycle is all hands-on. You can't just watch or listen. For me, I have to actually be practical. I have to be touching things and actually doing it. That's the great thing about a motorcycle class. So first and foremost, I highly recommend taking a motorcycle class. I'm a MSF coach for Ride Arizona MTC, and that's what I do professionally. So a little backstory before me, I was talking about videos on YouTube, talking about motorcycle safety. How I can't explain too much to you guys about that right now is that I am 31 years old. I'm a Cancer. I was born July 14th. Married to my wife over here, Nikki, and my daughter right here is with me, Layla, and Alaric is having fun at home. But what I do here is that I was a firefighter for over 10 years. That's why my YouTube channel name is Dan the Fireman. I was a firefighter, saw way too many accidents, saw way too many fatalities, and I started realizing a lot of it is because of people not taking care of themselves while riding. So no gear, no training, hopping on a powerful bike that will cause them to crash, especially with alcohol, intoxicants, anything and everything out there can cause some issues. So after seeing a bunch of that stuff, I decided to make a YouTube channel and talk about motorcycle safety, and that is why I do what I do. And now I'm an MSF rider coach for Ride Arizona MTC out here in Tucson and Phoenix, and that allows me to get more experience in talking about this stuff. So over the whole years of me doing this stuff and talking about motorcycle safety, like I said, there's not much I can talk about within 20 minutes. So the main thing that I learned over my years of learning and coaching and answering questions on YouTube, thousands and thousands of questions on YouTube, is that really you have to want to be safe. You have to want to. You already want to be on a bike. You already want to ride around. You have to want to actually add the safety factor to it. It's not a car or it's not a slingshot here. There's no cage on a motorcycle. You're open and free, and that's why a lot of us go to these bikes. It's open and free. You feel the wind. You're not encased in anything. You have a great field of view everywhere, not like a car where you have the A-posts and everything and you have to look for your blind spots. So when you're on the bike, you have to create your own safety. You have to create it. It's not given to you. So there's multiple aspects to that. Motorcycle training is one of them. Wearing full gear is another. And paying attention to other drivers, and that goes with the training. So first and foremost, the one thing that you can do that will not take any time at all other than clicking a few buttons or swinging by here at Indian Motorcycle Tucson is getting yourself gear. So first and foremost, the absolute easiest thing you can do is wear full gear. And that means a full face helmet at most times, a jacket, my pants, these are my pants right here, motorcycle pants, specifically for riding. These are jeans, they're not specific for riding. Motorcycle boots. I'm so glad we have props up here. These are motorcycle boots. I prefer boots over, and then gloves. And I prefer boots over shoes because you get that extra ankle protection. I prefer a full face helmet because 50% of all motorcycle crashes that involve the head will involve your face in some manner, especially the chin. I think they did a study, it was 20% on the right, 19% on the left at every impact. So it's very important that we wear a full face helmet to protect that. I was wearing a 3/4 helmet. There's plenty of 3/4 helmets in here. I wore that when I first started riding, and the few things that actually caused me to switch to a full face helmet is fatal trauma to the face. As a firefighter, I saw that multiple times. The whole system, their body, their chest, arms, everything, perfectly fine. Got T-boned, or they T-boned another car, which is one of the dangerous things out on the road is intersections and curves. Each time this motorcyclist, not each time this one, but each time a motorcyclist crashed into a car, facial trauma caused inadequate breathing, and that's what killed them. So the rest of their body is perfectly fine. They weren't bleeding out, nothing like that. Their airway was compromised, completely torn off their face, and me seeing that, wearing a 3/4 helmet, seeing this rider wear the same helmet that I was wearing, caused me to get a full face helmet. So I'm lucky enough to see that, to change my behaviors, which is the main thing that we're talking about here is behaviors. So I highly recommend a full face helmet. And then we got one right here. This is my full face helmet on the ground. Once again, you're gonna protect your face, okay? The back of your head is perfectly fine when you have a normal helmet. Top of your head's gonna be perfectly fine. Unless you're spinning around on top of your head, you don't really have to worry too much about that, but mainly it's the face. Gloves, once again with gear, gloves, I have my gloves on my pants right there. Gloves are very important. Who here works with their hands? At any point, you work with your hands. What about at home? You work with your hands? You have to do anything with your hands? You do things with your hands, yes. If you trip and fall right now, what are you gonna do? You're just gonna put your hands in your pocket and hit your face? You're gonna put your hands out. That is the main thing in a motorcycle accident. I watch a bunch of motorcycle crashes online. I actually have a live stream that goes over motorcycle crashes, how to prevent them, what happened, what type of injuries can happen. And one of the main things is that I like to freeze frame it when the moment they fall off the bike, their hands go out. That's why on motorcycle gloves, there's reinforcements on the palms. It's not for comfort, usually. It's mainly for crashing. So when you put your hands down, hopefully this will take the brunt of the road rash, and you don't have to have bandages on your hands so that when you go to work and you have to work with your hands, you don't have to take 6 to 8 weeks off. When you're going home, you have to wipe your butt, your hands are screwed. You don't want to do that. Same thing with like I said, the helmet. If anybody here has to be on TV, on YouTube, or anything like that, if you crash and damage your face, can't talk, get wired shut because you don't have your full face helmet, well, you're out of work. It's very important. So once again, these hobbies and these passions that we do can affect the rest of our life. So start thinking in that way. Same thing with motorcycle jeans. The back of the jeans, the back of the pants on motorcycle pants are usually Kevlar lined, aramid fibers, different fibers. Same thing with impact resistance with the armor inserts in the knees, and some jeans have in the hips, mainly in the knees. When you trip and fall, you put your knees down first. Usually hands, knees go first. You fall to the side, your hip hits. Your hip will hit the ground first. That is why there's impact resistance in the knees. There's armor right here. That's why you have that. The reason why we have aramid fibers and Kevlar in the trunk, in the butt area, is that when you fall down, you slide on your butt. Now, this is only going to help out with about 4 to 5 seconds of sliding at a certain speed. That's all you really need. The jeans that I'm wearing right now, if you watch any type of viral YouTube or Facebook videos, you're gonna see how they make ripped jeans. And it's just a sander for half a second, if that. The road itself is a sander, and you're gonna be sliding for 5, 6 seconds. So the next 4.5, 5.5 seconds that you have on the ground, that's not the jeans that are getting ripped. It's your flesh. And I don't want to go too much into the gore of it all, but I've seen it all. I've seen bone exposed. I've seen arteries bleed out because of these types of things that could be prevented. Same thing with the jackets. This is my jacket that I wear. In Arizona, it gets pretty hot. In Arizona, it gets really hot. And in the wintertime, it gets kind of cold. So I wear a mesh jacket year-round pretty much. The easiest way to, like I said, for motorcycle protection is to wear full gear. Get yourself a nice quality jacket with, once again, some type of abrasion resistance, which is this white portion. The mesh right here won't do much, but once again, when you fall down, do you fall down belly flopping and sliding the inside of your arms? You slide down and try to protect your core. That's why you have impact resistance on the shoulders, or on the elbows, the shoulders, and you have the abrasion resistance on the outside. Very important to wear this. Once again, you also get a spine protection with the back. And I talk about all this stuff on my YouTube channel, and like I said, I can't explain absolutely everything. But the main thing and the easiest thing you can do is get full gear. Full gear. With the boots, let's grab this one right here. With the boots, once again, I've seen many people ride with flip-flops, regular shoes, and I've actually seen people's feet fly off with their shoes in a motorcycle accident. It's not pretty. And I'm not trying to freak you out and cause you to, not want to ride. Riding can be fun if you're safe about it. But once again, I need you guys to know the dangers, because this is why I take safety very seriously, because I've seen the dangers. I've seen people's feet, hands, bodies, everything mangled because of motorcycles. Wear boots. Wear motorcycle shoes. They have special D30. It's the special non-Newtonian fluid. It's that orange armor where it's nice and pliable, but the moment it hits something and there's an impact, it hardens up. They usually put that in gloves and boots. So boots, you'll have ankle protection, a toe box, and once again, on the middle, who here has floorboards on their bike? Anybody have floorboards on their bike? Yeah, you do? Okay, so floorboards are very easy because they apply pressure along the whole foot. So the rest of us probably have pegs like these on the Scouts right here. So you're putting a lot of pressure on that one spot. In motorcycle boots that are outside of normal shoes, they have a nice shank in the middle, right inside. What that does is displace the pressure, so it makes it easier for you to ride. And then on top of that, if you step on anything, especially when you're putting your foot down on the road, because nobody sweeps the road, or at least they should, there could be nails, there could be different things that can catch on, and you can get a nail right through your foot. Because you're going to put your foot down at every stoplight. And who has seen that debris on the stoplights? Lots of debris. So that's why they have a bunch of this stuff, armor for the ankles. And like I said, I've seen people's feet fly off with their shoes. I've seen the shoes fly off their feet. So it's very important. So once again, I just went over a quick demonstration of what the gear is all about, and that is the easiest thing that you can do. It costs a little bit of money, but there are some safety standards out there that will help you out, and there's a bunch of websites that will help you out. You can buy an HJC 17 helmet for $130. It's Snail rated, which is one of the top of the line helmets. $130. Your brain's worth well more. This is a $700 helmet. I chose to get this helmet because I think my brain is worth more than $700. But you can still get the same safety rating at a lower price. Same thing with my boots. You notice how my boots are a lot higher than those boots? Because I wanted to protect my shins and my calves at the same time. So there's a bunch of options out there for gear itself, and that is one of the best things you can do for the safety part. That will help you in an event of a crash. To prevent a crash, which is what we're all trying to do, and like I said, I can't talk to you long enough on how to do it. The best thing you can do is take a class. Oh, really? There's a beginner class. There's a MSF that's in the United States, msf-usa.org. You can easily find a course near you, but since we're all here in Tucson, I'm definitely going to recommend Ride Arizona MTC because I'm biased. I work there. I can coach, and I've seen people not know how to ride, never been on a bike, scared of a bike. By the middle of the first day out of the 2-day course, they're loving it. They understand the safety, absolutely understanding the safety. And that's the biggest thing, because that will help prevent. It won't prevent. Motorcycles are inherently dangerous, but it'll help prevent an accident, because you're going to start finding that you have escape routes. You know how to use the clutch and throttle to get out of a situation. You're going to learn how to ride defensively, but then have the skills in an emergency situation to be aggressive about your riding so you can get out of the way, so you know how to brake appropriately. So instead of braking 200 feet at a certain speed, you can do it at 100 feet, and that 100 feet could save your life. Same thing with swerving, everything. Once again, there's too much to even discuss on what you're going to learn in a class. As much as I try to explain to people on my YouTube channel and demonstrate and explain and say, you know, counterweight, counter steer, do this, do this, do this, at the end of the day, they're sitting and looking on their phone, or they're on their computer sitting at home. They're not on the bike. They're not actually putting it in practice. They're going to forget maybe the next day when they switch to a different video. So the main thing is take a class. That will help you prevent an accident. The gear itself will help minimize injury. Help minimize injury. That's all it's going to do. So you need to take a class, or you need to go out and practice stuff that you learn on YouTube, out in a parking lot. At minimum. Riding straight is easy. Turning in a corner can be scary if you don't know what you're doing. Slow speed stuff in a parking lot, can run into a car accidentally twisting that throttle. So make sure you take a class, get everything you absolutely need. There's beginner classes, there's advanced classes, returning to ride classes where if you've been off the bike for years, 6 months, whatever it is, you get to relearn, and that will definitely help you out. Truly help you out. Okay. That's all I have to say.
Dan,
yes.
One of our crew, we visited him in the hospital yesterday.
Okay.
He got rear-ended.
Okay.
No fault of his own. He was wearing gear, full gear. Had he not been wearing the helmet, we probably would not have seen him again.
Yep. The gear is going to help you in a situation where you have no control. Like you can't, if you're in a slingshot, for instance, and he got rear-ended, he's got plenty of protection, crumple zones and everything. But in a bike, you have a rear fender. We're looking at all these bikes right here, and a rear fender and a tire that can easily get crushed. And a truck or a car, their hood or their bumper is going to hit the back of you, like your back. So yeah, a helmet, that's great. I'm glad he's doing well. I saw that picture. Glad you guys are supporting him. That saves lives. It really does. I don't know the statistics, but I know that helmets, the difference between a helmet and non-helmet, the fatality rates are so much higher without a helmet.
And I will say, apart from the padding, he said he wore down all of the knuckles on his gloves. He had the raised knuckles, ground them down.
Wow.
So
that's what they're there for.
Place to protect.
That's what they're there for. And then hopefully insurance at that point will replace it. Hopefully. That's a whole nother spiel on insurance, but it's easy to replace the gloves instead of the actual knuckles in your hands. And that's huge. And does he work with his hands? Does he do anything with his hands? Of course he does. Everyone does. So to be able to walk away and not have any type of long-lasting, life-altering trauma, that's huge. Thank you for sharing that. Very good. So anybody have any questions about how to maintain a safe ride? Anything that you have any questions about what I talked about, especially gear. That to me is one of the biggest things here. It gets hot in Arizona, I understand that. As a firefighter for 10 years, I'm so used to wearing full gear with an air mask and a SCBA and all that stuff and being hot inside of a fire. So for me personally, having all this gear on, the heat doesn't bother me, the sweat doesn't bother me. But anybody here make a choice to not do it? Anybody ride sandals? Anybody ride without any gear? Not calling anybody. No, good. And if you do, don't raise your hand. If you do, please invest in gear. Okay, a jacket. This jacket was $100. Lasted me 3 summers easily, and I'd rather replace that than get skin grafts from the back of my leg. And gear looks cool. Look how cool this mannequin looks.
And there are some places that will help you buy gear.
Yes.
Afford it.
Yes, there's definitely a bunch of places that will help you buy gear. 520 Moto Line, so you guys going to start helping out with some of that stuff? So AMSEF. AMSEF, they do scholarships for beginner classes. So if a beginner class is a little too much, you can't budget it right now, they do offer scholarships. But right now in the month of May, if you go to Ride Arizona MTC, there's 10% off because May is Motorcycle Safety Awareness Month. And Trina and Steve, the owners for Ride Arizona MTC, they do offer that coupon right now. So it's a great time. There's a class going on right now that just filled up. So that's 12 students, and it's well worth it. I just taught a class 2 weekends ago. It was a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. Yeah. You got a question?
Do you recommend a white helmet to see better?
That's a great question. I wanted a black one because it looks cooler. And then the more research I did, I chose white because of that, because of the visibility. Yep.
Another question, when it's raining, how does that visor do?
This visor does really well when it's raining. A lot of times I don't ride when it rains because when I film, it's hard to get water droplets on the camera itself. But when it does rain and I'm riding with this, you are going to get a little bit of water spots. But with the fogging, there's different inserts. It's actually really cool. It's actually hard to see. But you see the little notch right here and the notch right here? These are called the pin lock system. So it's like your double paned windows at home. There's like a nice little gap of air, so it actually doesn't fog up on the inside, so you can see really well. The water droplets, yes. And I'm wondering if on some of these gloves, because some gloves on the thumb, there's like a nice little wiper blade. Yeah, and I think there's some here actually, and you can just go whoop, wipe it off. It's actually really cool. And Rain-X, yeah, so there's a bunch of different things you can do to the actual visor to prevent water accumulating. And water, that's a good question. Once again, like I said, road safety and everything, you're gonna learn all this in the class, especially the E-course. And then the class itself is the way the roads are wet, tire traction, trust your tires, tire maintenance, all these different things that I've talked about, but it's hard to explain without being in person. And then also getting wet and getting hypothermia. Nobody thinks about that. A lot of this gear, it's not, I didn't waterproof my boots. I mean, my feet will get cold. And if your feet get cold, imagine trying, and then get numb, imagine trying to shift, trying to brake, your hands. So there's a bunch of stuff that goes into it other than, I keep using this, but any vehicle that has 4 wheels and a cage, you're pretty much protected from the elements, from everything. So, yeah, I picked white because the visibility. Yeah. Same thing with the white on there. Picked it because of that.
It reflects better at night?
It's easier to see in the daytime, and that's one of the main things. If you get proper gear, like these things right here are reflective too. So you actually get reflection and everything. Yeah, there's so much that you can add to safety. The main thing is how you ride and how you perceive safety. Is you have to actually do it. You have to think about that, ask those questions. It's like, I'm just gonna buy a helmet, cool, got this one. Well, white's a little bit easier to see, so I'll get white. And then paint your bike to match you. Cool. Everything good. I got stuff for you guys. I got little pins and some swag. It's really cool. But yeah, thank you 512 Moto Alliance for showing up and supporting this. And they're one of the people, like we talked about, AMSEF, they do the scholarships and stuff, but they're here local and they're doing some really cool things, keeping people safe, possibly helping out with some gear and everything. It's really cool. It's really cool.
I have another question.
Yeah.
How often do you have to replace your helmet?
Your helmet?
I'm a cyclist, so I mean every
Okay.
year all the hot.
Oh yeah. So helmets, they can vary. The main thing you really want to, it's basically 5 years on born on date. So if you look inside your helmet, if you can come on up here. I want to show you real quick. Let's pull this out. So if you pull this all out, on the inside, there's a born on date somewhere. So this is the Snell rating. And I know everyone else can't see it right now, but there's a born on date, 11/17.
Okay.
So 5 years from that date, you're going to want to replace your helmet because the polystyrene on the inside of the helmet is what keeps you safe, the foam. That will start getting brittle and brittle and brittle, start losing moisture, just like tire rot. Or if you do about 50,000 miles in that helmet, because all the sweat, all the makeup, all the grime will start eating away at that foam. Or if you drop your helmet or get in a crash. If you drop your helmet hard, you can drop your helmet and damage the outer shell, which is just this white portion, and that's fine. But if you do that, double check on the inside, see if there's cracks on the polystyrene. In an actual crash, don't wear the helmet again. Put it up on the wall as a souvenir if you're allowed to keep it from the insurance. So that's when you want to replace it, about 5 years from that born on date. So if you buy a helmet, it's like checking the milk date. You want to make sure that your helmet's new. You don't want it to be 3 years old and they're selling you a 3-year-old helmet. Okay. Yeah.
How do you clean the inside?
Clean the inside. Well, it's when you get more of not expensive helmet, but when you start spending a little bit more, you start spending more on the safety features, and then you also start spending more on removable liners. So with removable liners like this, I'll just grab a bar of soap in my hand, some warm soapy water, and just kind of clean it, rinse it off, let it dry. When you get some of the more inexpensive helmets that can be very highly rated, Snell rated, ECE, DOT. DOT is the minimum here in the United States. Those helmets, they might not have removable liners because they're trying to cut costs in that way, but still to maintain a safety margin. With that one, you're going to have to Febreze. Or Lysol, as best you can.
You should probably start shaving your head like this.
Start shaving your head. Yeah. With a beard? With a beard, that's, I pull a lot of hairs with the beard, but, and the beard gets messed up. Yeah. You just deal with it. You just deal with it. But yes, 5 years, about 40 to 50,000 miles, and then if it's been dropped really hard and the foam is cracked, that's basically when. Yeah. Hi, Matt. Hi. All right. Well, that's it.
Thanks, Dan.
You're welcome.